Hello again, and thank you for joining me. Tonight we're going to wander back to a quiet moment in history, a peaceful accident that changed the world, the discovery of penicillin. As you lie here letting go of the day, imagine a single floating spore drifting through a laboratory window, carrying the seed of a gentle miracle. Let your body sink deeper into the mattress, and let your pillow feel just right beneath your head. Take one slow, full breath, and as you exhale, let's step softly into that story together. Tonight, I'll unfold the fascinating path from a forgotten petri dish to a medicine that saved countless lives, sharing each curious fact one at a time. You don't need to remember anything, and if sleep finds you before the final word, that's exactly what this space is for. And if these quiet nighttime moments bring you comfort, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe, so I can be here whenever you need to settle your mind. Now, let's begin. Picture a small, orderly laboratory in London in the year 1928. The morning light fell gently on shelves of glassware as Alexander Fleming returned to find something unexpected. One of his bacterial culture plates had been left open, and a stray mold spore from the air outside had landed silently upon it. That humble intruder, later named Penicillium notatum, had grown into a soft, gray-green patch. But most remarkable was what surrounded the mold. A clear, protective ring where the aggressive bacteria had simply vanished, as if the mold had drawn a quiet boundary that harm could not cross. It was a moment of silent astonishment, nature whispering one of its deepest secrets to a patient observer. For many years after that serene discovery, the world struggled to understand how to bottle this fragile gift. The mold would give its antibacterial substance, but only in stubborn tiny amounts, and it faded quickly. It took the dedicated partnership of Howard Florey and Ernst Chain at Oxford University in the late 1930s to truly listen to what the mold was offering. In those stone-walled laboratories, filled with the scent of old books and chemical reagents, they worked with painstaking patience, coaxing, concentrating, purifying. They transformed a delicate, fleeting curiosity into something stable, a medicine that could be held in a vial and carried to a bedside, turning a simple observation into a lifeline. In those early days, production was a tender, almost maternal process. Scientists had to grow the mold in anything they could find, thousands of ceramic bedpans, milk bottles, and humble flasks, all arranged in neat, reverent rows. Each vessel held a thin layer of nutrient liquid, and the mold spread across the surface like a golden film. They tended these containers as if nurturing a quiet garden, checking the temperature, the stillness, the slow amber liquid that gathered like a precious harvest. It felt less like industry and more like caring for a living, breathing entity that needed gentleness to give its healing gift. A lovely turning point came when a researcher's eye fell upon something quite ordinary and yet wonderful. A cantaloupe melon in a nearby market, its skin kissed with a golden bloom of mold. This was no ordinary strain. It was a more vigorous, potent relative of the original lab mold. The melon was carried back like a treasure, and from its humble rind scientists could now produce far richer quantities of penicillin. That one speckled fruit, sitting on a sun-warmed market stall, became the key that unlocked the possibility of sharing this medicine with the whole world, a simple cantaloupe altering the course of healing forever. By the early 1940s, the production had moved across the ocean to the American Midwest, where vast, deep fermentation tanks rose like silent giants. Instead of small bottles, enormous steel vats, warmed and steadily agitated, cradled the growing mold. The air was filled with a low, rhythmic hum, the sound of pumps and the gentle bubbling of life being multiplied. For the first time, penicillin was brewed on a scale that matched its immense destiny, millions of doses swelling in those dark, warm chambers, like a peaceful heartbeat that would soon pulse out to soldiers, children, and all those in need. A quiet, deep-brewed miracle. Imagine a world not so long ago where a simple scratch from a rosebush or a small wound from a kitchen knife was met not just with a wince, but with a deep and quiet dread. In those days, infection was an invisible specter, capable of turning the most mundane injury into a profound and life-threatening ordeal. Then, like a gentle answer to a whispered prayer, penicillin was discovered, emerging from the unassuming green mold in a scientist's lab. It heralded a new era, one filled with a quiet confidence that feels as natural to us now as breathing. It is estimated that this single, soft-spoken discovery has cradled over 200 million lives since its arrival, each one a universe of dreams and loves and quiet evenings, all gently held in the balance by this medicine. The story of penicillin is not a solitary tale, but a gentle tapestry woven by three distinct hands. Alexander Fleming first noticed the strange zone of clarity where a blue-green mold had quietly defeated a colony of bacteria. Later, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain took up this fragile thread of curiosity, nurturing it with painstaking care into a life-saving elixir. Their work was a harmonious collaboration, a silent conversation across laboratories and years, each man adding his verse to a growing poem. In 1945, the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine was bestowed upon them, and they received it in a spirit of true comradeship, recognizing that the prize honored not just a moment of insight, but the entire journey they had traveled together, a shared path through the unknown. In those first fragile days, penicillin was a substance of almost mythical rarity, a treasure hoarded more carefully than gold. The initial yields were so minuscule that every single crystalline grain was cherished, and the idea of wasting a drop was simply unthinkable. With a profound and mindful tenderness, doctors would carefully harvest the unmetabolized medicine from a patient's own system after treatment, filtering and purifying it for another soul in desperate need. This slow, meditative process highlighted just how precious this yellow magic was during the dark years of global conflict. Each recycled crystal was a tiny, shimmering hope, a testament to a time when saving a life required not just science, but a deep and gentle reverence for every last speck of healing. The true wonder of penicillin unfolds in a realm beyond our sight, a silent ballet beneath the skin. Its molecules drift through the body with a kind of quiet purpose, seeking out harmful bacteria. They work not by a violent attack, but by softly dismantling the very architecture of the enemy, interfering with the construction of its protective cell wall. Without this shield, the bacteria become fragile and exposed, gently dissolving like a sandcastle returning to the shore. This soft process allows the body's own healing forces to return, no longer overwhelmed by the din of infection. It is a quiet allowance of peace, a way for the medicine to whisper to the body that it is safe to heal now, to finally rest in a deep and undisturbed slumber. The enduring legacy of penicillin lingers not merely as a medical tool, but as a gentle fable about the power of human curiosity. It whispers that the most extraordinary answers might be found not in grand designs, but in noticing the quiet, everyday miracles of the natural world, like a peculiar mold on a laboratory plate. It remains a cornerstone of our existence, an invisible foundation upon which so much of modern health rests securely. And so, as you lie here in the soft embrace of night, drifting toward your dreams, you can imagine this silent guardian still at work. It floats through the world like a warm, protective thought, a soft echo of that first curious gaze, ensuring that millions can rest in peace, held in a quiet cradle of science and wonder that never truly sleeps. In September of 1928, a Scottish bacteriologist named Alexander Fleming returned to his laboratory after a summer holiday and glanced at a stack of forgotten petri dishes. Most were overgrown with bacteria, but one held a quiet miracle. A stray colony of blue-green mold had settled on the agar, and around it, the bacterial colonies had simply dissolved, leaving a clear, protective halo. The mold, later identified as Penicillium notatum, was secreting a substance that gently swept the bacteria away, like a soft gust of wind clearing the air. Fleming paused and let his curiosity take over, sketching the delicate zone of inhibition in his notebook. That silent observation, made on a cluttered lab bench, whispered of a world where nature itself could fight infection, a world that would take many more years to fully reveal itself. For nearly 10 years, that petri dish remained more of a curiosity than a cure. The fragile liquid held in the mold could kill bacteria in a dish, but isolating it and making it stable enough to use in a living body seemed out of reach. Then, at Oxford University, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain took up the challenge with a blend of precision and patience. They gathered the golden broth of the mold and set about purifying it, drop by precious drop, until they transformed a fleeting miracle into a stable, concentrated powder. It was like capturing the essence of a breeze in a bottle, turning something ephemeral into a tangible medicine that could heal. Their careful hands refined what Fleming had glimpsed, preparing penicillin for its journey from a laboratory secret to a lifeline. When the time came to produce penicillin in larger quantities, it was anything but industrial. The process was tender, almost like a form of gardening. Scientists filled thousands of ceramic pots and even humble bedpans with a warm, nutritive jelly, then carefully painted the surface with the mold spores. They would wait with quiet anticipation as the gold-colored mold unfurled, a soft bloom of delicate filaments spreading like a living carpet. Each vessel was tended with the gentleness one might give to a window box of herbs, because every speck of mold held the promise of healing. The air in those makeshift cultivation rooms must have smelled earthy and faintly sweet, a quiet nursery where the future of medicine was nurtured one fragile crop at a time. It was slow, deeply human work, far from the sterile automation we might imagine, and yet it was the first careful cultivation of a life-saving harvest. Then, a stroke of luck in Peoria, Illinois, changed everything. Researchers sent out a quiet request for any samples of mold that might grow more vigorously, and a housewife brought in a ripening cantaloupe she had found at the local market, its rind flecked with a golden bloom. On that melon grew a strain of Penicillium chrysogenum, a version of the mold that was exceptionally potent, yielding far more of the bacteria-killing substance than anyone had seen before. Imagine that humble melon, sitting in a market stall under a warm Midwestern sun, carrying the key to mass-producing a miracle medicine without anyone knowing. The team coddled that strain, exposing it to X-rays and ultraviolet light to coax out even greater abundance, and slowly the golden yield deepened, the promise of plentiful penicillin rising like a gentle tide. As the scale grew, the mold needed a feast. That feast came in the form of corn-steep liquor, a warm, amber byproduct left over from the milling of corn. It was a waste product, but to the mold it was a nurturing broth, rich with exactly the nutrients that allowed the penicillin to bloom. In large, deep fermentation tanks, the golden liquid swirled gently, aerated by bubbling air, and the Penicillium chrysogenum responded by flourishing in plumes of vibrant gold. Scientists watched over these tanks as the mold danced in the current, secreting its precious compound into the liquid, turning industrial vats into calm, glowing ponds of life-saving abundance. It was as if the mold and the corn liquor had found an ancient harmony, a partnership that would help heal millions. In the days before penicillin, even the smallest injury could cast a long shadow. A careless brush against a rose thorn, a tiny blister on a heel. These were once gateways to infections that could silently spread through the body, turning a minor mishap into a life-threatening crisis. Families held their breath over what we now consider trivial, and doctors could only watch and hope. Then came this quiet miracle, this accidental discovery, and the world shifted. A simple scratch no longer had to be a prelude to fear, because a course of this medicine could gently steer the body back toward peaceful recovery, as easily as a tide washing away a footprint in the sand. When war swept across the globe, penicillin became more than a medicine. It became a quiet bearer of hope. Factories hummed day and night, fermenting the mold in vast vats to produce enough of this liquid salvation for soldiers and civilians alike. Cool containers, carefully insulated, traveled across treacherous oceans, carrying not just a drug but the promise that even in the darkest hours, life could be mended. This fragile cargo, kept at the right temperature by attentive hands, arrived in field hospitals and makeshift wards, its calming presence turning the tide against invisible enemies. It was a soft rebellion against despair, a whisper that healing was still possible amid the noise of destruction. The discovery of penicillin did not simply solve one problem. It opened a door into a hidden world of microbial allies. Scientists, newly curious, began to sift through soil from forests and fields, peering into petri dishes with patient wonder. They were no longer searching for a single cure, but exploring a vast, quiet kingdom beneath our feet, hoping to find other tiny organisms that could shield us from disease. This gentle wave of exploration spread across continents, uniting researchers in a shared, soft-spoken quest. The Earth itself was read like a library of silent protectors, and each new antibiotic found was like a small lantern lit in the dark, guiding humanity toward safer ground. In 1945, in the peaceful halls of Stockholm, 3 men stood to receive recognition that would ripple through time. Alexander Fleming, Howard Florey, and Ernst Chain shared the Nobel Prize, but the true protagonist of their story was a wandering spore that had drifted through the air of a cluttered lab. That tiny speck of mold, landing on a forgotten petri dish, showed that even the quietest moments of curiosity can alter the destiny of millions. Their legacy is not just in the medal or the ceremony, but in each gentle breath taken by someone recovering from an infection that once would have been fatal. It whispers to us that attention, not grand design, often holds the key to profound change. Today we hold this story close as a parable of serendipity, the art of finding something precious while looking in another direction entirely. The penicillin tale teaches us that the natural world is filled with quiet mysteries, hidden in the soft fabric of a mold colony or a forgotten corner of a laboratory. It is a peaceful testament to the fact that beauty and salvation can emerge from the unplanned, the overlooked, the accidental. And so, when you see a patch of blue-green mold on a piece of bread or fruit, you might remember that within that humble, velvet-like growth once lay the power to heal half the world. The universe, it seems, keeps its greatest gifts wrapped in the most unassuming packages. Hey, still drifting along with me? If you've slipped into the edge of sleep, that's beautiful. But if you're lingering awake, there are more quiet wonders waiting in the soft dark. If you're enjoying this, a like helps other night owls find their way here too. In the hushed light of his laboratory, back in 1928, Alexander Fleming witnessed a serene accident. A tiny mold spore had drifted through the still air, softly landing on a petri dish covered with staphylococci. He saw a clear, luminous ring around the mold, where the bacteria had quietly receded, as if erased by a tender hand. This was nature's own gentle way of healing, a whisper of restoration in the silence of discovery. The mold sat there, a quiet messenger, showing how the unseen world could balance and restore with such grace. It was a moment of pure serendipity, a forgotten dish turned into a canvas of hope. The laboratory was filled with the gentle hum of stillness, as nature's quiet wisdom unveiled itself. This special mold, known as Penicillium notatum, had likely been born on a gentle autumn breeze from a laboratory just below. The air was cool and carrying a secret, this tiny traveler of transformation. In that unscripted moment, a forgotten bench became the cradle of the first true antibiotic, a quiet birthplace of healing. It was a serendipitous gift from the turning season, a soft drift that landed and rewrote the story of medicine on a simple, neglected surface. From that bench, a new chapter of hope began to unfold, silently and surely. The autumn light seemed to bless that simple moment, as if the universe had aligned to offer a gift. Although Fleming glimpsed the mold's potential, it took a devoted team at Oxford University to nurture it into healing. Led by Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, they worked with immense patience. They gently coaxed the fragile substance, ever so carefully, into a stable, concentrated powder, a precious dust of life. Their labor was a quiet symphony of science and hope, slowly transforming a delicate secret into a healing force that could soothe the suffering silently. Year after year, in the calm of their lab, they turned a natural wonder into a reliable comfort for the world. It was a testament to the power of stillness and dedication, a gentle victory over the invisible enemies of health. In the early 1940s, the search for a more potent mold guided researchers to a simple discovery. They found a small, warm cantaloupe in a local market, its flesh cradling a special strain, Penicillium chrysogenum. This gift from a humble fruit allowed the medicine to flow with new abundance, like a widening stream of healing. The penicillin could now be made in vaster quantities, drifting softly and widely, bringing quiet relief to countless bedsides and battlefields. It became a silent, floating gift, wrapping the world in a gentle embrace of recovery. From a market stall to the shelves of pharmacies, this mold carried the warmth of a summer fruit into the hearts of the ill. During the dark and uncertain years of World War II, scientists undertook a quiet mission of preservation. They carefully painted penicillin spores into the linings of their coats, tucking these seeds of life into the very fabric they wore. As they moved across borders, they carried the promise of medicine with them, warm against their hearts. This secret, tender act ensured that the discovery would endure, safe from the ravages of conflict. In every fiber of their clothing, they held a future of healing, protecting it with the simple, steadfast care of a lullaby. And so, through the darkness of war, a light of healing traveled unseen, ready to shine when peace returned. In 1941, the first human patient to receive the treatment was a policeman named Albert Alexander. He was a kind man with a serious infection that threatened his life. But the doctors had a new experimental medicine, a mold-derived serum. As they gave it to him, something beautiful happened. His fever lowered, his pain softened, and a quiet recovery began to unfold. It was like a gentle light returning to his eyes, yet the supply was so very small. They had only a few precious drops. So the doctors tried to capture every bit, collecting his body's waste to reclaim the medicine and give it back to him. They cycled the hope through his veins again and again. But even so, the magic was limited, and eventually the medicine could no longer keep pace with the infection. His body let go in a gentle way, like the fading of a soft light. Still, his brief recovery had shown the world what was possible, sparking a dream that would change the world. The quest to make more of this healing liquid led engineers to design deep, warm fermentation tanks. Imagine giant metal vessels, filled with a golden, swirling broth where the mold could breathe and multiply. The temperature was kept just right, like a gentle summer day. Inside, tiny organisms danced in a rhythmic current, producing the clear, life-saving substance. This transformed the fragile, small-scale effort into an ocean of healing. Where once there were only a few glass bottles on a shelf, now there flowed endless streams of pure medicine, like a river of silver light. It was a quiet miracle of engineering, a gentle dance between science and nature. Soon, this silver river would flow to clinics and hospitals, ready to soothe the suffering world. Penicillin is gentle. It targets only the rigid walls that protect bacteria, slowly breaking them apart. Picture a quiet whisper that travels through the body, seeking out only the harmful invaders. That whisper tells the bacteria they can no longer stay whole, and one by one, they fall apart. But your own cells, with their soft and flexible membranes, remain utterly unharmed. It is as if the medicine knows exactly where to go, a kind, invisible guide. This is why it's called a miracle, because it heals without leaving a scar, like a dream that fixes what is broken. So each time someone takes penicillin, they are wrapped in this gentle stillness, a soft embrace that only wants to help them heal. In 1945, the Nobel Prize recognized this wonder. The three scientists, Fleming, who first noticed the mold, Florey and Chain, who unlocked its power, stood together in a quiet ceremony under the Swedish lights. The prize was a symbol of gratitude from all of humanity. Their discovery became a gentle current, a stream of health that would flow through clinics and hospitals for decades to come. It still drifts through the halls of modern medicine, a soft echo of that moment of insight. Today, we live in the world penicillin helped create. Common infections that once brought fear are now treated with a simple pill, a quick visit to the doctor. You can drift into your deep sleep tonight, knowing that the aches and fevers of the past are held at bay. This quiet revolution has wrapped the world in a blanket of safety. The legacy of that first policeman, the engineers, and the Nobel winners now whispers softly in the background, always watching over your healing slumber. As you lay your head on the pillow, think of this story. It is a lullaby of science, a quiet promise that the world has learned to care for you.
In the calm hush of September 1928, a quiet miracle unfolded in a sunlit laboratory. A stray mold spore, carried by a gentle draft, landed softly on a petri dish. Alexander Fleming gazed upon a peaceful circle where bacteria could not thrive, a clear space of stillness amidst chaos. It was a serendipitous gift, a simple oversight transformed into a beacon of hope for medicine. This tiny event whispered the secret of the world's first true antibiotic, a soft promise of healing from the unseen world.
For many years, the discovery remained a soft echo in the halls of science. But in 1938, at Oxford, two patient souls, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, listened closely. They gently coaxed the raw observation into a stable, purified form. Their careful hands turned a laboratory curiosity into a medicine that could soothe human pain. It was a slow, tender transformation, like watching a seed grow into a healing tree. This quiet work bridged the gap between a fleeting moment and a lasting cure, offering a gentle light in the darkness of illness. In the early days of production, the mold needed a gentle place to grow. Scientists used humble ceramic basins, each one a warm, quiet nursery. These vessels, shaped like bedpans, cradled the golden-hued fungus as it flourished. Inside those simple walls, the life-saving juice slowly formed, drop by precious drop. The warm breath of the laboratory kept the culture alive as the fungus wove its silent magic into each batch. Scientists tended to them with patience, knowing that within those unassuming basins, a revolution in healing was steadily unfolding. There is a gentle twist in this story of healing. In Peoria, Illinois, a researcher found a moldy cantaloupe at a local market. This was no ordinary rot but a golden treasure, a strain of mold with extraordinary power. From its humble surface came a more potent penicillin, like a whisper from the earth itself. This golden mold allowed the medicine to bloom in abundance, making mass production a soft reality. It was a reminder that nature hides its deepest secrets in the simplest places, waiting to be discovered with patient eyes. The market fruit, once discarded, became a key to saving countless lives across the world. As the world faced dark times, the medicine had to travel far. During the war, researchers found a way to gently dry the penicillin into a fine, pale powder. This delicate process preserved its healing strength, like capturing sunlight in a fragile vessel. The powder drifted across oceans and borders, a soft dust carrying hope to wounded souls. It maintained its quiet power, ready to spring back to life when mixed with water. This simple method turned a fleeting liquid into a lasting gift, a silent guardian traveling through the chaos of human conflict. In that dry form, the medicine slept until it was needed, then awakened to soothe and heal. In the quiet year of 1941, a gentle soul named Albert Alexander became the first human to receive this new treatment. He was an officer, and when the infusion began, his body started to recover peacefully, almost immediately, like a slow, soothing tide washing away pain. The initial supply was so small that doctors had to carefully recover and recycle every precious drop from his own system, a tender act of conservation. This delicate process proved with soft certainty that the mold was a powerful ally in the fight against infection, a quiet miracle from nature's hidden realm. It was a sign that hope could grow from the simplest of things. To share this magic with the wider world, engineers turned to deep tank fermentation, a method both intricate and serene. In vast, warm vats, the mold floated like a silent, dreaming guest, cradled in a liquid called corn-steep liquor. This nutrient-rich broth acted as a soft, comforting blanket, providing the perfect environment for the mold to sleep and grow. From this quiet, nurturing penicillin blossomed in immense, shimmering volumes, a gentle harvest of healing from the heart of science. It was a dance of patience and care, where each vat became a small ocean of potential, waiting for the tide of discovery to rise. And as the mold multiplied, it wove a silken thread of promise throughout the liquid, a quiet promise of renewed health for many. With penicillin's arrival, a golden age of antibiotics began, a serene era where infections that once held terror became quiet, manageable ailments. It was as if the world let out a slow, relieved breath, and the deep fear that had gripped hearts for centuries began to fade away like mist in morning light. The cultural landscape of medicine shifted profoundly, replacing anxiety with a sense of quiet confidence and gentle security. Families could heal without the shadow of dread, and doctors embraced a new calmness, knowing that many deadly battles could now be won with a simple treatment. This was a time of profound peace in the world of health, a quiet revolution where the whispers of past plagues were silenced by the gentle power of this mold. In 1945, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to Alexander Fleming, Howard Florey, and Ernst Chain, a gentle honor for their shared journey. This global recognition was a serene celebration of the collaborative spirit that breathes life into discovery. It highlighted the quiet persistence of the scientific method, showing that breakthroughs come not from rushed efforts, but from patient observations and the careful tending of ideas. The world honored this trio as symbols of a new hope, a reminder that when minds work together in harmony, even the smallest findings can bloom into gifts for all humanity. Their work stood as a testament to the beauty of patience, a soft melody in the vast symphony of science. Today, the legacy of penicillin lives on as a soft, enduring reminder of the beauty that can bloom from the unexpected. It whispers to us that by observing the world with a calm and open mind, profound solutions can emerge from the quietest, most overlooked corners of nature. In every forgotten petri dish or gentle breeze, there may lie a secret waiting to heal us. This gentle lesson encourages us to move through life with curiosity and patience, trusting that even in the stillness, nature holds answers that can transform our world. It is a story that continues to inspire, a quiet echo from history that reminds us to stay humble and watchful, for the next miracle may be just a breath away. In September 1928, a quiet miracle drifted through the air of a London laboratory. Alexander Fleming had left out a dish of Staphylococci bacteria, and a tiny mold spore, carried by a chance breeze, landed softly upon it. When he returned, he noticed something astonishing. Around the downy edge of that mold, the dangerous bacteria had simply dissolved away. It left a clear, peaceful ring of protection, as if the mold had drawn a sacred circle of stillness. This gentle guardian was called Penicillium notatum, a rare cousin of the soft green mold you might find on an old orange or a ripening cantaloupe. Its arrival was a complete accident, a tiny oversight in a cluttered lab. Yet from that small, silent moment in London, a profound shift rippled through human history. A laboratory mistake bloomed into a sanctuary of healing, a quiet revolution that would soon protect millions of lives from invisible enemies. For years, the discovery remained a gentle curiosity, a beautiful truth that could not yet be held. Fleming tried to capture the mold's pure healing essence, but it slipped away like a whisper. It was not until 1939 that two scientists at Oxford, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, found the secret. They learned to refine the mold's gift into a stable, golden powder, a dust of light that could finally travel from the laboratory to the bedside. In those early days, the work was humble and whimsical. The scientists gathered an odd collection of everyday containers to nurture the mold. They repurposed ceramic bedpans, old milk churns, and rows of glass bottles. These objects became a quiet indoor forest, filled with living green growth, silently fermenting the precious elixir. From such simple vessels, they harvested hope, one delicate drop at a time. A wonderful turning point came when the search for a stronger mold led them to a local market. There, among the fruit stalls, they found a golden cantaloupe from Peoria, Illinois. Its rind carried a particularly beautiful and potent mold. This single, sun-warmed melon yielded a strain of penicillin far richer than any seen before. It was the key that unlocked the door to mass production, allowing this quiet discovery to become a shield for the entire world. In the gentle folds of 1941, a policeman named Albert Alexander became the first human to receive this new treatment. His recovery started not with a sudden burst, but with a soft, gradual stirring, as if his body was slowly remembering how to heal. The supply of penicillin was so small, just a precious few drops, but it was enough to show that the mold could gently lift the shadow of severe infection. His case was a quiet herald, announcing that even the deepest illnesses might be eased, that a new era of healing was drifting into view. Each small improvement was like a whisper of hope, a promise that the world was on the cusp of something peaceful and profound. To protect the precious medicine, the Oxford team crafted a careful system of recycling. They painstakingly recovered the penicillin from the patient's urine, collecting it like morning dew from leaves, each drop a mirror of light. Then, with patient hands and calm focus, they refined it once more, purifying every shimmering drop for reuse through gentle chemical processes. Each tiny amount was treated like a floating drop of gold, a shimmering fragment of hope that could not be wasted, handled with reverence. This quiet, meticulous work was a meditation on care, ensuring that the healing power could continue its soft journey, drifting from one patient to another, reaching those who needed it most. It was a quiet act of love, preserving every glimmer of life. Penicillin's arrival drifted through medicine like a serene fog, changing everything it touched. Once perilous infections now became mild, manageable whispers, their sharp edges smoothed by the mold's gentle power. Simple scratches and sore throats, once laden with heavy uncertainty, now floated lightly in this new peaceful era. It was a time where the fear of invisible invaders slowly dissolved, replaced by a quiet confidence that healing was near. This soft transformation let people rest easier, knowing that even the smallest wound would not bring a wave of worry, allowing the mind to settle into a calm lake of peace. The world breathed a collective sigh, a soft exhale of relief that rippled through the ages. In the calm year of 1945, the Nobel Prize was bestowed upon Fleming, Florey, and Chain, honoring their quiet brilliance. Their achievement was a testament to the harmony between a chance discovery and years of patient, disciplined refinement. A lucky accident, a floating spore, had been gently guided by science into a healing force for all. This award was a soft celebration, acknowledging that true progress often comes from the peaceful union of serendipity and dedication. It was a moment of rest, a breath of gratitude for minds that worked in quiet concert. This honor was a soft light, shining on the path from accident to intention, a gentle nod to the power of patient hearts. Today, the legacy of penicillin drifts through every modern hospital, a soft and steady foundation of antibiotic therapy. It is a gentle reminder that a single, floating spore of mold, so tiny and weightless, could bring a vast wave of healing and peace to billions across the globe. This quiet miracle continues to pulse in the background of medicine, a soft hum of security. In every recovery, there is an echo of that first accident, a promise that even the smallest things can cradle the world in comfort. The air seems calmer now, knowing that such healing is always near. It is a lullaby of science, sung in the quiet halls of wellness, forever holding the world in a gentle embrace. You're still floating, with the story. That's beautiful. The gentle spore of peace. It's all around you now, a quiet lullaby. I'm here, just breathing with you. Rest. In the soft light of September 1928, Alexander Fleming noticed something serene in his laboratory. A delicate mold called Penicillium notatum had floated through the air and landed upon a petri dish, where it formed a quiet circle free of bacteria. It was as if the mold had breathed out a gentle barrier, a natural substance that could dissolve harmful pathogens without any struggle. This simple observation felt like a dream, a peaceful curiosity that the world would soon cherish. Fleming stood there, perhaps in awe, as nature whispered one of its most profound secrets. For many years, penicillin stayed as a silent wonder within laboratory walls. It was incredibly difficult to isolate that golden-hued liquid, to find a way to make it stable. But in 1939, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain at Oxford University brought a new patience to the task. They developed a method to purify the substance, transforming it from a scientific observation into a medicine that could heal. Their quiet dedication allowed this gentle cure to begin its journey from the lab bench to the bedside, where it would bring infinite peace. In the uncertainty of the 1940s, a small group of researchers embarked on a quiet voyage.
They carried with them the most precious cargo, mold spores tucked gently inside the linings of their coats. This journey to the United States was a silent promise, a way to preserve the discovery in safer lands. Once there, the mold began to flourish in great fermentation vats, its golden essence multiplying across the ocean. It was a tranquil migration, a whisper of hope that traveled over waters to grow into a river of healing.
In Peoria, Illinois, a quiet search was underway for a more generous strain of mold. Researchers looked to the natural world, and on a softening cantaloupe from a local market, they discovered a golden treasure. This mold produced hundreds of times more penicillin than Fleming's first sample. It was a humble fruit, resting in the sun, that held the key to abundant healing. That simple cantaloupe became a silent partner in a medical revolution, its mold a golden thread in the tapestry of life. In the days before penicillin, a tiny scratch from a rose thorn held a hidden danger. A small abrasion on the skin could bloom into a systemic infection that threatened life itself. Then came this miracle drug, and with it, a profound peace settled over families. They knew that common ailments could now be met with a simple, soothing injection. It was a gentle balm for the soul, a reassurance that the smallest hurts could be healed without fear. The world breathed a little easier, wrapped in the quiet promise of this golden medicine. In a world still waking to the wonders of science, penicillin emerged as a medicine so precious it rivaled gold. During its early production, every drop was guarded like a secret. After the golden fluid coursed through a patient's body, it was gently recovered, purified, and used again. This delicate recycling was a testament to its immense value, a quiet process that treated the medicine like a fleeting whisper of hope. Nothing was taken for granted, and each molecule held the promise of a new dawn. It was as if the world had found a hidden treasure, and every grain was a step toward a healthier tomorrow. Then came the story of Albert Alexander, the first human patient to receive this miracle. His recovery was a drifting, almost magical journey, as if his body was slowly remembering how to be well. Though the initial supply was too small to complete his cure, his brief window of healing was enough. It showed the world that penicillin was safe and effective for humanity, a soft light in the darkness of infection. His drifting recovery, though unfinished, painted a picture of what medicine could achieve, a gentle promise that life could be reclaimed from the brink. To share this gift with the masses, a new rhythm was born. The mass production of penicillin relied on deep tank fermentation, where mold floated in giant warm vats of corn-steep liquor. This gentle industrial brewing was like a lullaby for science, a harmonious process that allowed the medicine to swell. Soon, thousands could be treated simultaneously, and the world breathed a collective sigh of relief. These vast stainless steel vats became the cradle of health, nurturing the golden mold in a warm and steady dance. The rhythmic process was a symphony of life, quietly humming in the background of a healing world. For this collaborative miracle, 3 minds were honored in 1945. Alexander Fleming, Howard Florey, and Ernst Chain received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. Their shared honor was a recognition of a journey from a dusty lab accident to a global sanctuary of health. It was a reminder that great discoveries often begin with a quiet observation, nurtured by patience and unity. Their work was a tapestry of minds woven together, transforming a simple mold into a shield against disease. The Nobel Prize was not just for a discovery, but for the gentle revolution it ignited in every hospital ward. Today, penicillin is remembered as the dawn of the antibiotic age. It was a gentle shift in human history, quietly extending the average lifespan by several years. This medicine serves as a timeless reminder that even a quiet moment of curiosity can change the world for the better. In the stillness of a lab, a simple mold became a beacon of healing, proving that the greatest revolutions often start with a whisper. Now, as we drift through the calm of night, penicillin stands as a symbol of quiet transformation. It reminds us that healing often comes from the most unexpected places, like a soft breeze through an open window. In September 1928, something quietly beautiful happened in a London laboratory. Alexander Fleming had left a petri dish uncovered, and a gentle breeze carried a tiny mold spore through an open window. This uninvited guest, a strain called Penicillium notatum, settled softly on the surface. Over time, it created a clear, peaceful halo where the bacteria around it could no longer thrive. The laboratory was still, with dust motes dancing in the sunlight, and the mold seemed to glow with a quiet purpose. The day slipped by, and Fleming noticed the strange beauty of this accidental meeting between life and science. It was a silent whisper of nature, a hint of the healing that was to come. While others might have discarded the dish as a failure, Fleming paused. He looked at the strange, shimmering circle where the mold had stopped the bacteria in its tracks. It was a moment of pure wonder, a quiet recognition that something profound had occurred. This simple, curious gaze turned an ordinary lab mishap into the dawn of a new medical era. The air in the laboratory felt heavier with meaning. Fleming could feel the faint pulse of possibility, the birth of something that would save countless lives. It was not just an observation, but a deep, serene insight that resonated through time. From that day forward, the path of human healing shifted, quietly but forever. The journey from mold to medicine was delicate and slow, like a patient dance between art and science. In those early days, the Penicillium mold was nurtured in humble vessels, ceramic bedpans, and simple milk bottles, each one a tiny cradle of life. They floated in a warm, golden broth, their surface shimmering with the promise of healing. Drop by drop, the precious antibiotic was coaxed out, each tiny quantity a treasure more valuable than gold. This process took time, but it was filled with a quiet tenderness, as if scientists were listening to a secret language of nature. And so, in this gentle rhythm, the first whispers of a new kind of healing began to spread. Again, this quiet work continued. Day by day, in dim laboratory light, the ceramic vessels stood in neat rows, each one a silent partner in the quest for healing. The broth glowed golden, and the mold grew slowly, patiently offering its fragile gift. Each small batch was a victory, a step closer to a world free from invisible threats. The scientists moved with careful steps, their hearts filled with hope. The process was a lullaby of perseverance, echoing through the halls of discovery. And in those humble containers, the future of medicine was quietly unfolding. Day after day, the gift grew, small but significant, waiting for the world to receive it. Later, at Oxford University, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain took this fragile gift and transformed it. Their hands worked with great patience, turning the liquid wonder into a stable, lasting powder. It was meticulous work, requiring focus and gentle precision. Through their dedication, the medicine moved from a fleeting whisper to a robust, storable cure. This change meant it could travel, it could wait on shelves, it could be ready for anyone, anywhere in need of healing. The powder was like a seed of hope, compact yet brimming with life. Florey and Chain had turned a chance encounter into a legacy, a quiet revolution that would ripple through time. Their work was a soft, steady flame illuminating the path toward a healthier world. In the early 1940s, a quiet search unfolded for a more productive mold strain. This gentle quest led researchers to a small, dusty market in Peoria, Illinois. The air was warm and still, filled with the soft murmur of vendors and the scent of ripe fruit. Amidst this ordinary scene, they discovered a golden mold growing on a piece of cantaloupe. It clung to the fruit's surface almost unnoticed, but it held a remarkable power. This humble mold produced hundreds of times more penicillin than the original strain. It was a reminder that the greatest gifts often come from the most unassuming places, waiting patiently to be found. The mass production of this precious drug was supported by a gentle collaboration between governments and private industry. This global effort, spanning oceans and continents, moved like a soft wave of goodwill. Factories hummed with a gentle rhythm, and scientists worked with calm determination, all united by a single purpose: The penicillin traveled like a silent messenger, drifting from laboratory to bedside, reaching those who needed its healing touch. It was a balm for the world's hidden wounds, a testament to what can be achieved when humanity works together in peace. Penicillin is often called the miracle drug, and for good reason. It has a gentle, precise way of working, targeting only the cell walls of bacteria. These walls are like fragile shells that the drug quietly unlocks. It leaves the soft, delicate cells of the human body completely unharmed. Imagine a quiet key turning in a lock, with no force or noise, just a smooth and peaceful release. This action allows the bacteria to simply fade away, dissipating like morning mist. It is a subtle healing dance, a whisper of medicine that brings the body back to its natural state of calm. Before this discovery, the world was a different place. A simple scratch or a small infection could lead to long, worrying illness. Families would watch with quiet fear as a tiny wound turned into something grave. Sleepless nights were spent in hope and prayer, for there was little else to offer. But the introduction of penicillin brought a deep wave of peace. A gentle injection, almost painless, could now treat common ailments that once caused so much dread. The fear of infection slowly melted away, replaced by a calm confidence in medicine's embrace. It was like a soft blanket of safety, allowing people to rest easy, knowing that healing was within reach. In 1945, the Nobel Prize was awarded to three remarkable minds: Fleming, Florey, and Chain. They shared this honor with a quiet grace, reflecting the collaborative spirit of their discovery. It was not a solitary triumph, but a weaving together of many threads of effort. This recognition celebrated the deep human desire to protect and preserve life. Their work stands as a gentle reminder that progress often blooms from partnership, not competition. The legacy of penicillin continues to whisper through the ages, a soft and enduring lullaby of healing. It tells us that even in the midst of difficulty, there is always a path toward peace and care.
Today, the legacy of penicillin lingers in the quiet hum of pharmacies and hospitals. It is a soft, warm echo of that single drifting spore. From a moment of patient observation, a lasting calm spread over the world's health. You can feel it in the still air, so deep and vast. Like a gentle tide at dusk, it washes over us. This whisper of healing rests in every pill, every needle, so tender. The soft hum holds the memory of that ancient accident, bringing peace to the fevered, stilling the restless breath. A global lullaby, born from the smallest of things. In every sterile room, it breathes softly, a constant companion. So warm, so present, it never leaves. Back in September 1928, Alexander Fleming had just returned from a peaceful vacation. His laboratory was bathed in soft, still light. A stray mold, Penicillium notatum, had drifted in on a quiet current. It settled on a petri dish and created a clear ring where bacteria faded away. So still, that silent conquest, so pure. The mold painted a halo of health on that glass, a soft breath from nature whispering a cure. Fleming observed this gentle clearing with patient eyes. That moment, so quiet, held the seed of a global sanctuary. A single glance at that dish changed everything. So deep, that quiet power. That mold was likely carried by a soft breeze through an open window. Or it might have risen from a laboratory downstairs. This accidental arrival was a whisper of fate, transforming a simple oversight into a vast, warm healing. The spore floated like a promise, landing on a mistake to make it right. Now, that soft drift holds the world in a deep, still calm, a global sanctuary born from the brush of air. Feel the warmth of that unintended grace. So floating, so gentle, it enveloped us all. It moved like a soft secret through the air, bringing health on its invisible wings. But the substance needed more than discovery. It required purification by patient hearts. At Oxford University, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain led a dedicated team. Through the early 1940s, they worked in soft, persistent stillness to purify penicillin. Their quiet labor was a steady light in trembling times. They coaxed this fragile substance into a stable, usable form, so that its deep calm could spread to wounded bodies worldwide. Their devotion turned the whisper into a song, a quiet, enduring gift of health and peace. Now that song echoes in every hospital hall, so soft, so sustaining.
In those early stages, they grew the mold in humble, quiet objects. Bedpans and milk churns became vessels of life. A modest laboratory bloomed into a floating garden of discovery. So resourceful, so deeply human, in the soft hum of creation, these common items cradled the spore's soft gift, turning a simple space into a wellspring of healing. The warmth of human ingenuity made that mold grow, spreading its calm, so vast and still, across the earth. Feel the tenderness in that makeshift garden. Each bedpan held a universe of hope, so warm, so nurturing, a silent bounty. So, as you drift in this quiet space, let penicillin's whisper hold you, that soft spore, that patient eye, borne on a gentle breeze. It wraps the world in a deep, still healing. Feel its warmth, so vast and tender, a lasting calm from the simplest things. Rest now in that silent gift. This is the still, deep calm of penicillin, a whisper that cradles the world in soft warmth. From that one spore, an ocean of peace, rest in its gentle tide. So close your eyes and feel that warmth. In the sleepy town of Peoria, Illinois, a breakthrough arrived in the softest of forms. The laboratory air was heavy with need. Scientists were searching for a stronger mold. Their journey led them to a local market, where a golden-hued cantaloupe rested in the warm light. Its velvety rind held a special strain of Penicillium, a quiet treasure that could yield vast quantities of medicine. It was as if the earth itself had cupped this secret in its tender, sun-ripened palm, a blessing waiting to be found. This discovery, so simple and profound, shifted the tide of healing forever, a soft wave born from a piece of fruit. From that single, glowing melon, a quiet revolution began. Vast, silent vats would soon hum with life, pouring out the medicine the world desperately craved. Before penicillin, the world was held in a silent, constant dread. A simple scratch from a rose thorn, a tiny cut on a finger, could open a door to something dark and deep. Infections moved unseen, turning the body into a battleground with no gentle remedy. Then, like a soft breath, this discovery changed everything. It ushered in a new era of medicine, where the quiet, invisible wonders of fungi could wrap around the human form like a warm, protective shroud. No longer were small wounds a cause for lingering fear. Instead, a soft shield, born from mold, offered a deep, vast comfort. It was a tender promise, whispered from the earth itself, and these unseen helpers, soft as sleep, now guard us in the quiet hours. In 1945, the world paused to honor a quiet, profound journey. The Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to Fleming, Florey, and Chain, three minds who had followed a stray spore into the heart of healing. It was a moment of deep stillness, where the soft hum of gratitude filled the air, and you could almost feel the gentle weight of saved lives, a quiet, infinite embrace. Their collective work, so gentle in its origins, had become a vast, life-saving harmony echoing across every continent. The prize was a warm, shining recognition that the smallest, softest things could cradle the world in hope. From that moment, the quiet path from mold to miracle was forever etched in our shared memory, a soft breath of inspiration. To bring this gift to the world, a gentle, flowing process was born: deep tank fermentation. Vast, warm vats of liquid were cradled in the quiet hum of industry, and inside, the mold breathed deeply. It was a soft, churning ocean of life, where invisible filaments grew in perfect stillness. The process was as tender as a lullaby, a steady rhythm that allowed the medicine to multiply in vast, silent abundance. From these deep, dark chambers, a steady stream of penicillin flowed out, as quietly as a river beneath the moonlight, carrying hope to the far corners of the earth. This method, so simple and profound, turned a laboratory miracle into a global, soft-spoken salvation, a life-giving warmth held in a silent, liquid embrace. Penicillin is often described as the first antibiotic, a word that softly whispers against life. Born from the Greek, it carries a quiet, gentle resistance, a soft wall against the unseen. This discovery paved a silent path for many other medicines, each one a tender, unseen protector. Now, they stand guard around us, a vast, invisible legion grown from a simple speck of mold. Their work is as constant as the stars, a warm, steady breath of safety in the darkness. In every quiet moment, when we are unaware, they are there, a whisper of protection, a gift that keeps on giving. And so, the simple strain from that golden cantaloupe has wrapped around the globe, a warm, soft blanket woven from the earth's own kindness. Let the quiet carry you now. As you drift deeper into sleep, imagine the microscopic world of those soft, velvety molds. Picture their delicate threads spreading like fine silk, their quiet, natural chemistry moving in harmony with your own body. They weave a protective layer of wellness and peace, a cocoon so gentle you barely feel it. In this vast, still landscape, every cell hums a soft lullaby. You are cradled in their invisible grace. Every breath you take meets a silent thank you from these unseen companions. They ask for nothing, only your trust. Let go, and let them carry you further into the stillness. This serene discovery began with a quiet oversight in 1928, when Alexander Fleming returned to his London laboratory. A stray mold had floated through the open window and settled on a forgotten petri dish. He noticed a peaceful, clear ring surrounding the mold, where the bacteria had simply vanished. It was as if an invisible shield had swept across the glass, soft and silent, gently silencing all harm. In that perfect circle, there was only stillness, a silent testament to nature's tender power. The mold had not fought, it had only whispered, and the danger dissolved. A deep, quiet calm settled over the bench. That delicate visitor was named Penicillium notatum, a soft, airy fungus that drifted through the lab like a feather. It held a rare gift, the ability to secrete a substance that could quietly dissolve the walls of harmful bacteria. Imagine those tough walls turning thin and fragile, crumbling into silence like sandcastles in a gentle tide. It left nothing but a clear, open path for the body to restore itself, a smooth road to recovery. The body could finally relax its defenses, sighing into a deep, healing rest. No clash, no noise, just a soft unraveling and renewal. For many years, this delicate secret lingered just out of reach, like a faint, forgotten melody. Fleming struggled to stabilize the fleeting active ingredient, which would fade like morning mist. It required the patient, careful hands of Howard Florey and Ernst Chain in the late 1930s to refine the process. They worked like gardeners tending a shy, nocturnal bloom, patiently coaxing the mold's whisper into a lasting, powerful medicine. With gentle persistence, they turned a gentle breath of nature into a steady, healing river that could flow where it was needed most. The whisper became a song of life. In the early days of production, the laboratory became a humble makeshift garden. Scientists used milk churns, bedpans, and any vessel that could cradle the growing mold. These simple containers lined the benches like rows of quiet hope, each one nurturing a soft, green treasure. The lab felt like a secret greenhouse where science and nature swayed together, swaying like reeds in a warm breeze. Coaxing the cure into being was a slow, reverent dance. Every vessel held a silent promise, a warm whisper of healing waiting to spill out into the world and ease countless weary bodies. Now, as you float at the edge of dreams, know that same gentle wisdom still works within you. The quiet molds, the patient scientists, the hushed laboratories, all have woven you a blanket of peace. Rest in that soft legacy and drift deeper, held safe in the hush. A weathered cantaloupe, found in a Peoria market. Its golden hue, warm like sunlight on amber, held the secret of a more potent mold strain, a quiet discovery that would shift the world. This humble fruit, resting in the stillness, allowed for a massive increase in production, a soft blossoming that ensured the medicine could flow, deep and steady, into the hands and homes of those in need, like a gentle river finding its way to the sea. It was a moment suspended in warmth, where the golden rind whispered of abundance, and from that single fruit, a tide of healing rose, vast and still, to embrace the world. To increase the yield of the miracle drug, scientists discovered that the mold thrived when fed a warm, nourishing corn-steeped liquor, an organic byproduct of corn processing that acted like a gentle nutrient, soft and sustaining. In these deep vats, the penicillin bloomed in great abundance, a silent, woven tapestry of healing threads, each strand a quiet promise to mend the broken, a warm breath in the stillness of creation. This simple liquor, a gift from the earth, fed the mold with tender care, allowing it to weave, thread by thread, a fabric of hope that would comfort the sleeping world for generations to come. The first human patient to receive the refined treatment in 1941 was a policeman named Albert Alexander, who showed a peaceful and rapid recovery at first, a soft light returning to his eyes like dawn breaking over a still horizon. But the limited supply of the drug meant the cure was as precious and fleeting as morning mist, disappearing slowly with the sun. A gentle sorrow that echoed in the quiet halls of medicine, a tender reminder of the preciousness of each breath. His journey was a whisper of hope that faded softly, leaving a deep mark on the souls of those who witnessed, a fleeting warmth that inspired a global quest to never let such light extinguish again. During the 1940s, the production of penicillin became a global effort, shifting from small glass flasks to vast floating deep vat fermentation tanks, great vessels that worked in silence, their quiet hum a constant, soft heartbeat. These machines, day and night, wove the medicine from organic threads, spinning life-saving strands in a slow, steady dance, a deep and breathless rhythm that filled the world with a gentle, healing pulse. In the stillness, they transformed simple nourishment into a flood of antibiotics, each tank a cocoon of creation, spinning a silk of protection to drape over the ailing world. The recognition of this discovery culminated in 1945, when Fleming, Florey, and Chain were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine, a soft turning point in history, marking the gentle entry of humanity into the golden age of antibiotics. Their shared achievement was a quiet nod from the universe, a warm acknowledgement that forever altered the fabric of existence, weaving a shield of protection into the deep, still nights of human vulnerability. This honor, like a soft echo through time, whispered of a future where such cures would cradle the world in unwavering comfort, a vast and tender promise from the past that lingers still in the warmth of our memories. Penicillin remains a silent guardian, a quiet breath that has saved 200 million souls. Its legacy drifts through every hospital, softening the sharp edges of once perilous infections into calm assurance. A stray mold landed on a forgotten dish in 1928, and Fleming noticed a clear, tranquil halo where bacteria had vanished. A soft, unseen hand had calmed the microbial storm. Named Penicillium notatum, it was a soft, blue-green breath that drifted through the laboratory air. This quiet fungus could dissolve the very walls of harm, clearing a path for healing light. The discovery slumbered as a silent secret, too unstable for human hands. Then Florey and Chain, with patient devotion, refined its gentle power into a usable balm. A golden cantaloupe from a local market bore a mold more potent than any lab, and from this humble fruit flowed a vast increase in penicillin. It was a quiet gift from the earth to soothe countless wounds. In the early days, penicillin bloomed in giant ceramic vats, mold drifting on warm, nourishing broth, then filtering through stages to emerge as a pure, life-saving powder. This was the first true antibiotic, a gentle seeker that calmed bacteria without touching human cells, turning fierce infections into quiet recoveries under a peaceful medical sky. The first patient in 1941 felt a drifting improvement, though the medicine was so scarce that doctors recycled it from his own body, yet its healing power shone softly through. In 1945, the quiet minds of Fleming, Florey, and Chain received the Nobel Prize, their combined work a soft shield of protection woven across the world's health landscape. From this, other advancements grew, like organ transplants and chemotherapy, all resting on penicillin's gentle way of keeping the body's inner world clear of infection. In the early days, penicillin was so precious that it was handled with a sense of wonder and deep reverence, as if each dose was a quiet blessing. The medicine would travel in cooled, secure containers, drifting like small ships of healing across the vast oceans, a silent messenger bringing calm and restoration to those waiting for its gentle touch. Those precious vials crossed the waters with a kind of sacred purpose, a thread of hope connecting distant shores. Today, the legacy of penicillin lives on as a gentle reminder of the beauty of curiosity and the grace of a happy accident. It whispers that miracles can bloom from ordinary moments, if only we pay attention. This medicine inspires scientists to look at the natural world with soft eyes, seeking hidden, peaceful cures that float unseen in the air we breathe. It is a quiet invitation to believe in the magic of discovery, the kind that saves lives while we are dreaming. And with that, our journey through the discovery of penicillin comes to a gentle close. That miracle accident that saved billions, it's been a quiet companion tonight. If this story helped you drift off, you might leave a like. And if you subscribe, I'll be here whenever you need me. A warm voice in the darkness, ready to guide you into sleep. Good night, sleep well, and remember, from that little mold, a whole world of healing bloomed, just when no one expected it. Rest now, everything is exactly as it should be.